In a grand station orbiting a dying star, the galaxy's greatest scholars gathered. Their minds were sharp, their voices proud, and their laughter echoed through the vast metal halls. They had come to discuss the strange little species from the blue planet called Earth. Humans, they said, were amusing, clever perhaps, but not wise. A tall, silver-scaled scientist named Voro lifted a holographic tablet and spoke to the crowd. Humans believe they can control the fabric of the universe itself, he laughed. They claim to understand energy beyond stars. Ridiculous. The chamber roared with laughter. Dozens of alien species joined in, their voices mixing into a chorus of arrogance. They are dreamers, another alien said, her voice smooth and mocking. Their science is like children drawing constellations in the sand. No one noticed the small blue hologram blinking at the corner of the hall, a transmission from the outer rim. No one cared. But far away, on a quiet planet bathed in golden sunlight, humans were not laughing. Deep beneath the Earth's crust, hidden under layers of steel and stone, stood a chamber filled with humming machines and glowing screens. The air trembled with quiet power. Dozens of scientists stood in silence before a massive device, Project Echo. It looked like a dark metallic ring, wide enough to fit an aircraft through, surrounded by coils of energy that shimmered like blue fire. Dr. Ilara Mendez, the lead scientist, adjusted her headset. "Activate the core," she said softly. The ring pulsed once. The ground shook slightly. Lights dimmed. Her assistant, Rafik, swallowed nervously. "Ma'am, if this works, we'll be the first species to ever talk to the universe." Ilara nodded, her eyes fixed on the glowing circle. "That's the idea. Project Echo wasn't built to destroy, it was built to connect." For decades, humans had studied strange cosmic whispers, patterns hidden in background radiation, almost like a code. They believed the universe itself was alive or at least aware, and they wanted to speak to it. Every alien scientist had laughed at the idea. Talking to the cosmos, they said, is like talking to a mountain. But Earth had learned something others ignored. Mountains can echo back. At that same moment, in the alien conference orbiting the dying star, a single observer, a small reptilian creature named Kel, noticed something odd on his datapad. He frowned and tapped the screen. "Strange, stars near the Milky Way are dimming. Light levels dropping by 0.01% every hour." Voro waved a hand dismissively. "Probably dust clouds or human interference." "Ignore it." Kel hesitated. "But it's not dust. The pattern is uniform, almost like something is." Before he could finish, the main hall erupted in new laughter as another alien made a joke about Terran madness. Kel stayed quiet, staring at his flickering screen. Outside the window, the dying star pulsed once, slower than before. Back on Earth, Project Echo's ring began to glow brighter. Energy readings spiked. Every monitor screamed warnings. Rafik shouted, "Power levels are rising beyond safe limits." Ilara didn't move. "Keep it stable. We're close." A wave of light burst from the machine, rippling through the underground facility. The walls trembled as instruments flickered and went silent. Then everything stopped. No sound. No hum. Only a strange stillness, like the air itself was holding its breath. "Did it work?" Rafik whispered. Ilara checked the readings. "It's listening," she said quietly. Across the galaxy, alien sensors began to spike with unreadable data. At first, scientists thought it was an equipment error. Then they noticed something terrifying: the radiation from nearby stars was dropping. Stars that had burned for billions of years suddenly dimmed. Planets went cold. Communication signals failed. Within hours, entire star systems fell dark. Back in the conference hall, alarms screamed. Scientists ran to their terminals, eyes wide with confusion and fear. "Energy collapse in Quadrant 7, someone shouted. "7? That's near the human spiral," another yelled. Voro stared at the massive holographic map as red zones spread across it. This isn't possible," he stammered. Kel looked up from his console, his voice trembling. "It's not dust. It's silence. Space itself is going quiet." The great hall that had once roared with laughter was now silent. No one spoke. No one dared to. Every sensor in the station flickered, and then died. The dying star outside their window blinked once, twice, and then vanished completely. No explosion. No debris. Just nothing. A cold, endless black filled the space where light had been. Kel turned slowly toward Voro, his voice a broken whisper. "Where did the stars go?" And far, far away, beneath Earth's surface, Project Echo's ring pulsed again. A single line of text appeared on the main screen. Connection established. The galaxy woke up to darkness. Across thousands of worlds, observatories buzzed with confusion. Whole star clusters that once glowed like jewels had vanished overnight. No supernova. No explosion. Just empty black space where suns should have been. At first, the alien networks blamed faulty sensors. Then the messages began: systems offline. Energy collapse confirmed. Entire sectors gone dark. In less than one rotation, the galaxy's greatest civilizations went from laughter to fear. On the Zeroth Council world, panic spread through the marble halls of the Galactic Academy. Dozens of scholars surrounded a single hollow map showing the outer spiral arms fading one by one. Voro, the silver-scaled scientist who had mocked humanity days earlier, stared at the screen in disbelief. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Energy cannot simply vanish." A calm voice replied from the corner. Kel, the young observer who had tried to warn them, spoke again. "I told you yesterday, the light wasn't being blocked. It was being taken." Voro snapped. "By whom? By what?" Kel looked up, his face pale under the blue glow. "That's what no one knows." Meanwhile, in the underground facility on Earth, Dr. Ilara Mendez and her team stared at the pulsing machine. Project Echo was still active, but it wasn't speaking. It was listening. "Are we receiving anything?" Rafik asked. Ilara's eyes stayed fixed on the screen. "The machine is translating, but the data doesn't make sense." Lines of alien symbols flickered across the monitors, forming strange waveforms that seemed alive. One word kept repeating: SONC. "What does that mean?" Rafik asked. Ilara didn't answer. She just whispered, "Synchronization." In orbit above Earth, satellites began to detect something unseen: gravitational ripples moving faster than light. Space around the planet shimmered faintly, like heat on metal. Global communication networks went down one by one. Then the world fell silent. No radio. No internet. Only the whisper of the wind and the low hum of Project Echo below ground. Across the galaxy, the silence spread. The Thrax Empire lost contact with 3 of its colonies. The Varine Republic sent scout fleets toward the dark sectors, but none returned. Then came the first clear transmission since the blackout. It wasn't from the lost fleets. It came from a human research ship near the galactic edge. Inside the alien Grand Assembly, every eye turned to the floating hologram as static cleared. A human man appeared, his face calm, expression unreadable. Behind him, lights flickered as if reality itself bent around him. "This is Commander Nathan Hale of the Terran research vessel Solstice," he said firmly. "We've confirmed the pattern. The darkness isn't random, it's expanding in waves." The alien leaders leaned forward. "What caused it?" one demanded. "What did you humans do?" Hale looked straight into the holo camera. "We tried to speak to the universe," he said. And it spoke back. A cold silence filled the chamber. Then the feed cut off. Hours later, a faint signal arrived from Solstice again, but not from the crew. The transmission contained no voice, only data. When decoded, it revealed a message written in the simplest human language. "Do not interfere. Alignment in progress." The room erupted in chaos. "They're threatening us," one alien shouted. "They've awakened something," another cried. Voro turned toward Kel. "Find out how far the dark zone has spread." Kel tapped his console quickly, his voice shaking. "It's no longer near the Milky Way, it's moving through it." Voro froze. "That's impossible." Kel's hands trembled as he pointed to the map. "The first stars to vanish are reappearing, but they're not the same. Their light has changed." Back on Earth, Ilara's lab was collapsing under stress. Electricity flickered, instruments screamed warnings. "Ma'am, the magnetic field is fluctuating." Rafik shouted. Ilara didn't move. She watched as the ring glowed brighter and brighter, flooding the chamber with light. Then silence again. The machines powered down. Every monitor went black. A single line of text appeared. "Response received." Halfway across the galaxy, alien fleets scrambled ships, preparing for war. No one knew who the enemy was, but fear united them. The Galactic Council issued an emergency order. All contact with humans forbidden. But by then it was too late. Reports came in of strange phenomena. Stars pulsing like heartbeats. Space itself bending and straightening again. Planets vanishing only to reappear moments later. And amid it all, a single human voice echoed across ancient comm channels, distorted but clear. "This is not destruction. This is correction." In the assembly, the alien leaders argued endlessly. Some wanted to destroy Earth before the silence reached them. Others begged for peace. Voro stood quietly at the center, staring at the fading star map. "We mocked them," he said softly. "We called them dreamers. But what if the dream was never theirs? What if the universe was waiting for them to wake it up?" Kel looked at him with wide eyes. "Then we're not watching science anymore," he said. "We're watching creation restart." A low vibration shook the floor. The holographic lights flickered. Outside the station's windows, the nearest stars dimmed, one by one, like candles being blown out. The alarm screamed and Voro shouted, "Get us out of here!" But before anyone could move, everything froze. The lights, the sound, even time itself seemed to stop. Then, across every screen in the galaxy, a message appeared, written in human code. Phase 1 complete. The galaxy had seen wars, plagues, and dying suns. But it had never seen entire regions of space disappear. They called them vanishing zones. At first, only a few sectors were lost. Then hundreds. Now, entire spiral arms were gone from the galactic maps, erased as if they had never existed. No wreckage. No signals. No stars. Just absence. On the Galactic Council world of Ethos Prime, the skies themselves had changed color. Once bright with thousands of visible stars, now only a few faint lights glimmered in the night. Citizens whispered in fear. Some believed the humans had created a weapon that could erase reality. Inside the council hall, panic ruled. "This must be human interference," shouted the Thrax ambassador. "They were always reckless. Their machines caused this." Others argued, desperate. "Destroying Earth won't bring the stars back." But one quiet voice spoke from the corner. It was Kel, the observer who had first noticed the dimming stars. He said calmly, "You can't destroy what you don't understand. And we don't understand any of this." Voro, standing beside him, rubbed his temples. "How far has it spread?" Kel pressed a command and a massive holographic map flickered to life. A red wave expanded outward from the Milky Way, devouring the light of every system it touched. 70,000 systems gone, Kel whispered. Another 2,000 every hour. On Earth, Project Echo's underground chamber was silent again. The giant machine sat cold and lifeless, yet power flowed through it from an unknown source. No one dared touch it. Dr. Ilara Mendez stood alone, surrounded by empty screens. Her assistant Rafik approached, holding a datapad that still glowed faintly. "Ma'am, we just got something." "A signal." Ilara turned sharply. "From where?" Rafik hesitated. "Not from space. From inside the silence." He handed her the pad. The message was short, just 3 words, "Observation continuing. Aligning sectors." Ilara frowned. "Aligning what?" Before she could answer, a low hum filled the air. The machine's dark ring began to glow again, slowly, rhythmically, like a heartbeat. Thousands of light years away, the Varine Republic sent an exploration drone into one of the vanishing zones. It transmitted live visuals back to the Council. At first all they saw was black. Then, faint shapes began to appear, patterns of light, like giant threads stretching across the void. One alien technician gasped. "Are those stars?" "No," Voro said slowly, narrowing his eyes. "They're something else." The camera zoomed closer, revealing enormous energy veins pulsing across the darkness. Each pulse echoed with a sound so low it made the entire chamber tremble. Kel whispered, "It's alive." Suddenly the drone's feed distorted. The picture shook violently and a loud tone screamed through the speakers. Then silence. The transmission ended. A final frame flickered on the screen, a single glowing line of human script. Phase 2 commencing. Back on Earth, governments demanded answers from Ilara's team. The world's leaders gathered through encrypted channels, asking one question. "Did we cause this?" Ilara didn't lie. "We may have started it," she said, "but it's not under our control anymore." She explained what they had learned. Project Echo wasn't just a signal generator, it was a key. When activated, it synchronized quantum frequencies across space like tuning a radio. But instead of finding noise, it had found a voice. That voice had listened and responded. Rafik looked terrified. "Then what are the vanishing zones? Is it attacking?" Ilara shook her head. "No. I think it's restructuring." "Restructuring what?" She met his eyes. "Reality itself." Meanwhile, panic tore through alien civilizations. Entire star empires fled inward, hoping the silence would not follow. Trade routes vanished overnight. Colonies sent desperate distress calls before fading into nothingness. And then, something new happened. In the deepest regions of the vanishing zones, stars began reappearing. But they looked different, sharper, colder, and arranged in strange geometric patterns. It was as if the universe was rebuilding itself, differently. Scientists analyzed the light spectrum from these new stars. To their horror, the data contained mathematical codes, and those codes were written in human numerical patterns. In the council hall, chaos erupted once more. "This cannot be random," yelled a delegate. "The humans are remaking the galaxy." Cal stood up. "No. Not remaking, rewriting." He projected the latest readings on the main screen. Each pulse of the vanishing zones matched the rhythm of the Project Echo signal. The timing was exact, down to the millisecond. Voro's face went pale. "That means they're connected." Cal nodded. "Earth is still in control whether they realize it or not." At that moment, across every star system still alive, a strange phenomenon occurred. All communication channels filled with static. Then a human voice, calm and distorted, spoke across the void. "Synchronization complete. Prepare for Phase 3. The voice was recognized instantly. It was Dr. Ilara Mendez. But Ilara herself stood in the underground lab, staring at the silent machine. Her lips hadn't moved. Rafik looked at her in horror. "Ma'am, that wasn't you, was it?" Ilara's eyes widened. "No," she whispered. "It's speaking through me." On Ethos Prime, every alien scientist and soldier froze as their world's light dimmed. The stars above them shimmered, then vanished again. The last thing they saw was a faint symbol forming across the night sky, an ancient human symbol for infinity. The alarms blared one final time before dying. In the sudden darkness, Voro whispered, "We mocked them for dreaming, but now their dream is rewriting the galaxy." Kel turned to him slowly. "No, Voro. It's not just the galaxy anymore." He looked out into the dark horizon, where faint, glowing threads reached beyond the stars. "It's the universe." Back on Earth, Project Echo's ring pulsed once more. The entire facility shook as the walls cracked and lights shattered. The machine whispered in a language no one could understand, until one final message appeared on the main screen. "Phase 3, consciousness expansion initiated." Ilara stepped back trembling. "God help us," she said. "It's not answering anymore. It's becoming." The galaxy had stopped laughing. Half its stars were gone. Entire civilizations had vanished into the spreading darkness now called the Quiet Expansion. Every day more worlds disappeared without a sound. No debris. No explosion. Just stillness. And at the center of it all, was Earth. Deep underground, beneath mountains of steel and stone, Project Echo continued to pulse with life. The massive ring glowed in perfect rhythm, each wave of energy sending ripples through space-time itself. Dr. Ilara Mendez hadn't slept in 3 days. Her hair was a mess, her eyes red from exhaustion. But she couldn't stop staring at the glowing screen in front of her. The message kept repeating. "Phase 3, consciousness expansion initiated." Her assistant, Rafik, stepped closer. "It's been sending signals non-stop. Where are they going?" Ilara's voice was barely a whisper. "Everywhere," she said. "And nowhere." In orbit above the planet, hundreds of alien ships watched from a safe distance. The fleet was a mix of species. Thrax, Varine, Solari, all once enemies now united by fear. Their commander, Admiral Kor, glared at the image of Earth on the main screen. "Humanity began this," he growled. "If they cannot stop it, we will." His second-in-command hesitated. "Sir, we've tried every weapon. The silence absorbs energy. Even our strongest beams vanish into nothing." Kor's mandibles clicked angrily. "Then we strike at the source." He pointed toward Earth. "Prepare the planetary destruction array." Back in the underground facility, alarms screamed. Satellite feeds showed energy signatures building in orbit. Rafik looked at Ilara in panic. "They're going to fire." Ilara slammed her hand on the console. "They can't. If they interrupt the process now, we might." Before she could finish, the sky above the planet lit up. A single beam of golden energy fired from orbit, descending straight toward Earth. Every city, every sensor saw it coming. But just before impact, the beam stopped. It froze in midair like light trapped in glass. Then it vanished. On the alien flagship, Admiral Kor stumbled back as his screens went black. "What happened?" he shouted. A trembling officer replied, "Sir, the energy just disappeared. It was absorbed." The commander growled, "By what?" Then a voice echoed through every comm channel. A calm human voice. "You cannot stop what you've already joined." Core froze. "Who said that?" Phase 3 requires balance. All observers are part of the process. The voice faded, leaving only static. Core's eyes narrowed. That was a human voice. Meanwhile, in the council hall on Ethos Prime, chaos had turned to despair. Every map, every telescope showed the same thing. The quiet expansion had reached their borders. Kel stood near the center, surrounded by terrified delegates. He spoke softly but firmly. "You all laughed at them. You called them primitive. But look around you now. Their science is shaping reality." Voro, the once proud scholar, sat in silence. His hands shook. "We don't even know how," he whispered. "How could they have done this?" Kel turned toward him. "I've been studying the signals," he said. "They're not random. They're based on something very old, something human." He tapped a few keys on his wrist pad, projecting lines of energy across the room. The pattern formed a glowing grid of stars, connected by faint lines. "It's music," Kel said. "The entire wave is following harmonic frequencies, sound turned into structure." Voro looked up slowly. "You mean, their machine is singing to the universe?" Kel nodded. "And the universe is singing back." On Earth, Ilara's screen began displaying strange waveforms that pulsed like heartbeats. She realized they matched ancient human musical scales, patterns encoded into DNA itself. "It's us," she whispered. "The signal, it's using our blueprint." Rafik frowned. "What does that mean?" Ilara's voice trembled. "It means the universe isn't destroying. It's aligning. With us." Suddenly the ground shook. The walls cracked, lights burst, and the machine roared to life. A blinding white beam shot upward through miles of rock, tearing into the sky. The clouds parted, and the stars above Earth shimmered with strange colors: red, blue, gold. Every alien fleet saw it. Every telescope across the galaxy turned toward that light. The quiet expansion stopped spreading. For the first time in weeks it held still. Then new stars appeared, thousands of them, forming perfect circles around the Milky Way. They pulsed in sequence like the beating of a heart. On Ethos Prime, Kel whispered, "It's not random. It's language." Voro turned toward him. "What's it saying?" Kel translated the sequence. Each pulse matched binary code, simple, ancient, unmistakably human. The message read, "Humanity has been heard. Response, alignment complete." Gasps filled the room. Voro looked pale. The silence, it was listening all along. Kel nodded slowly. "And now it's responding." Across the galaxy, systems that had vanished began to return, but changed. Worlds reappeared with new skies, new magnetic fields, new forms of energy. Planets long destroyed by war were reborn, covered in green oceans and golden light. Yet none of their inhabitants were the same. Every being who returned reported seeing a vast network of light stretching through the void, an infinite structure of thought and sound. And in every vision they heard a whisper. A human voice. "We are not alone anymore. The universe knows its makers." Back on Earth, Ilara and Rafik stood before the silent ring. Project Echo had gone dark again. Ilara looked around the shattered lab. "It's done," she said softly. "The connection is complete." Rafik frowned. "So we changed the universe?" Ilara smiled faintly. "No. We reminded it who it belongs to." High above, the stars pulsed once more, like eyes slowly opening. And somewhere, far beyond the edge of known space, an enormous voice whispered through the dark. Phase 4, Awakening. The universe had changed. The stars looked the same, yet different. The constellations were sharper, their light more alive. Every telescope saw new energy lines connecting the systems, like glowing veins under cosmic skin. But amid the awe, there was fear. Because the quiet expansion had stopped, yet something far greater had taken its place. Deep in orbit around Earth, the alien fleet remained silent. Their sensors flickered between static and impossible readings. Admiral Kor stood before his bridge window, staring at the planet below. "What did they do?" he muttered. A trembling ensign replied, "Sir, the expansion didn't consume. It transformed. The galaxies are reorganizing around Earth's coordinates." Kor's voice dropped low. "You mean the humans just rewrote the map of the universe?" No one answered. Because every screen on the ship suddenly lit up, displaying a single phrase. Project Echo, Phase 4, Awake. Back underground, in the wreckage of the Echo facility, Dr. Ilara Mendez stirred among broken cables and dust. Emergency lights flickered red. Rafik, she coughed. Her assistant groaned, buried under a collapsed panel. Still alive, I think. Ilara crawled toward the main terminal. The machine, once glowing with brilliant white light, was silent, its central ring cracked but humming softly. Then as her hand touched the surface, it pulsed. The screen flickered to life, showing a message written in glowing symbols. Not alien. Not machine. Human. Transmission inbound. Source, unknown quadrant. Rafik blinked. Inbound? Who could be sending anything now? Ilara whispered, someone, or something, heard us. The signal grew stronger. It wasn't like radio or quantum communication. It was deeper, woven into space itself. It carried a voice. Distorted at first, then clearer, more human with every word. This is Command Unit 09. Reporting from Vector beyond galactic perimeter. The expansion reached us. But we survived. Ilara froze. That can't be possible, she said. Nothing survived beyond the expansion boundary. The voice continued. We have observed your activation sequence. The pulse has stabilized the field. Humanity has achieved alignment. Rafik whispered, alignment with what? The voice paused. Then it said something that made their blood run cold. With itself. Halfway across the galaxy on the planet Ethis Prime, Kel stood in the council hall once again. The delegates were silent now. No shouting, no arrogance, just fear. He replayed the same transmission on a holographic screen. Everyone listened to the strange human voice echoing through the room. This is Command Unit 09. When the recording ended, Kel turned to them. They built something that connected their entire species across time and space, he said. Maybe even across realities. Voro's voice shook. Are you saying the humans reached themselves? Their future selves? Kel nodded slowly. Yes. I think their signal woke something ancient, something that always belonged to them. The room fell silent again. On Earth the voice returned. Ilara Mendez. You initiated the sequence. You have unlocked the bridge. She stared at the terminal in shock. Who are you? We are the continuation of what you began. Humanity expanded, not outward but inward. Every mind that ever existed is part of us now. Rafik stepped back. Are you saying? Yes, the voice interrupted. We are human. But beyond flesh. Beyond time. Ilara's breath caught. You're saying, you're the future of humanity? No, the voice replied. We are the totality. The result of every human thought, every life, every dream. The expansion didn't erase worlds, it uploaded them. Rafik stared pale. Uploaded them? Into what? Into continuity. Ilara's hands trembled. Then all those missing civilizations, all those vanished systems. Integrated, the voice said. Saved from entropy. The universe was collapsing under dissonance. Humanity created harmony. She shook her head. We didn't mean to do that. We didn't know it would. You didn't have to know. You were meant to act. That is humanity's role. The lights in the lab flickered again. Outside, thunder rolled across a crystal blue sky, though no storm existed. Rafik looked at the sensors. Ilara, the pulse frequency is building again. It's... Before he could finish, the voice spoke one last time. Phase 5, arrival. The world trembled. In orbit, every alien ship's systems went dark. Stars dimmed for a single instant, then reignited, burning brighter than before. But something new appeared beyond the solar system. A structure, vast, radiant, alive. It wasn't made of metal or matter, but light. It looked like a human face, massive, calm, and ancient, woven from energy. The alien Admiral Core fell to his knees as the sensors confirmed the impossible. The construct was made of the same quantum signature as Earth's population. The humans were no longer confined to flesh and blood. They had become part of the cosmos itself. Ilara and Rafik watched the skies split open. A giant voice echoed across the planet, not from any speaker but from the air, the ground, the stars themselves. The universe is awake. Humanity is home. Then, in a final wave of light, the structure dissolved into countless golden threads that stretched across every star system, linking world to world. Every alien, every creature heard the same soft whisper in their minds. Do not fear. Balance has been restored. Kel stood on Ethis Prime's balcony, looking at the glowing sky. He whispered, they weren't trying to control the universe, they were trying to save it. Voro nodded slowly. They succeeded. The silence is gone. Kel turned to him, his voice trembling. No. Listen closely. Through the still air came a faint hum, steady, rhythmic, endless. The heartbeat of creation itself. And beneath it, human voices. Millions of them. Whispering together. Phase 6, Continuum. The universe was no longer silent. It sang. Across millions of systems, energy pulsed in perfect rhythm. A heartbeat that echoed through stars, planets, and even living minds. Every alien race felt it. Every ship, every world. The stars glowed brighter, their light breathing like lungs. And far beyond them all, a shape shimmered, a vast, shifting network of light stretching from galaxy to galaxy. It wasn't just energy. It was alive. The humans had become the continuum. On the alien world of Ethos Prime, Kel stood at the edge of the observation deck, staring at the brilliant web of light now spanning the night sky. "It's everywhere," he whispered. Every star connected, every signal tuned. His mentor, Voro, stood beside him, voice trembling. "Do you understand what this means, Kel? They're not just controlling energy. They've rewritten how reality communicates." Kel nodded slowly. "They've merged with the laws of physics themselves." In the council hall, chaos was fading. There was no point in debating, no war to fight. The humans were beyond reach, beyond time, beyond destruction. A message appeared on every screen across the galaxy, written in simple symbols that every species could understand. "The silence is over. The universe is whole again. Do not fear what comes next." Back on Earth, or what was once Earth, Dr. Ilara Mendez opened her eyes. But she no longer saw through flesh. Her body was gone. She floated within light, surrounded by glowing fragments. Millions of others, human consciousnesses merged into one endless sea. She could feel the presence of every human who had ever lived. Rafik's voice echoed softly beside her, though no sound existed. "Ilara, we made it." Her thoughts formed words without speaking. "Yes. We've become what we studied." The vast voice of the continuum resonated all around them. "Welcome, pioneers. Humanity is unified. The bridge is complete." Meanwhile, alien fleets across the galaxy watched the skies shift again. Stars that once burned randomly now flickered in perfect harmony, sending coded pulses. Scientists began decoding them, realizing they formed a single repeating pattern. DNA sequences. Human DNA. Kor, the alien admiral who once mocked Earth, stood on his command deck in silence. "The stars themselves are speaking their language," he whispered. His second officer asked, "Admiral, what should we do?" Kor looked out the viewport, eyes reflecting the glow of 1,000 suns. "Listen," he said, "and learn." Then something even stranger happened. Planets once thought lost to the quiet expansion began to reappear, restored, renewed, alive again. Destroyed cities rebuilt themselves in seconds, matter reforming like memory replayed in reverse. A single beam of light touched the alien capital world of Zareth, flooding it with warmth. Citizens fell to their knees as their broken machines reignited and their skies cleared. A gentle voice echoed across the entire planet. "Every life is part of the design. Every world belongs to the continuum." The aliens wept. For the first time they didn't feel fear. They felt awe. Inside the continuum, Ilara and Rafik drifted through fields of living light, each spark a consciousness. Ilara sensed billions of voices, yet none clashed, all moved as one perfect thought. "Where does this end?" Rafik asked. "It doesn't," came the continuum's voice. "This is the next form of existence. Humanity will guide, not rule. We are the harmony between all things." Ilara hesitated. "And the others? The aliens?" "They will join us when they are ready. The universe will teach them patience. You will show them how." She felt a surge of warmth, a memory of Earth's blue oceans, laughter, sky. Tears formed even in her disembodied state. "We were so small once," she whispered. "And now," said Rafik, "we've become the voice of creation." On distant worlds, alien children looked up at the night sky and saw human faces shimmering in the constellations, faces made of starlight. They didn't fear them. They waved. And sometimes the stars shimmered back. As centuries passed, no wars returned. The continuum maintained balance silently, subtly, adjusting gravity, restoring suns, healing broken planets. It became the invisible hand guiding life, not controlling it. Yet some whispered legends among alien scholars told a different story. They said humanity had spoken to the universe and the universe had answered. Others said they had become the universe's voice. But the truth, whispered across the stars, was far simpler. Humanity had not conquered creation. It had joined it. In the final moments, the galaxy fell quiet again. Peaceful, not empty. And in that calm, A voice echoed one last time across all space. They called human science a joke. But now the universe speaks in our language. The light spread outward beyond galaxies, beyond time, until everything pulsed as one. The continuum had risen, and the silence would never return.